I'm running for the U.S. Senate seat now filled by Maria Cantwell. I'm Dave Strider, and I know it's time for the federal and state governments to step up and serve the American people and not the special interest, as it has been for the last 50 years since Richard Nixon disgraced the White House. Since Nixon, who took us off the gold standard, made the secret deal with the South Vietnamese government to pull out of the peace talks, effectively scuttling Johnson, declared war on drugs to criminalize communities of color and the politically progressive younger generation. He used the FBI, IRS, and DOJ to attack his enemies under the color of law and wound up escalating the presidency just and escaping ahead of impeachment. Yes, Nixon was one of those who dramatically lowered the bar of serving the public in favor of special interest. Did you know that in 1972, Richard Nixon gave a special address to Congress? And American health care was at $75 billion a year, and it was far too expensive and ineffective, he declared. What was needed was a program that recognized a strong nation and a powerful economy required a healthy population, in Nixon's words. And I quote, "In the ultimate sense, the general good health of our people is the foundation of our national strength, as well as being the truest wealth that individuals can possess," unquote. Richard Nixon. In 1973, Nixon did a personal favor for his friend and campaign financier, Edgar Kaiser, then president and chairman of Kaiser Permanente. Nixon signed into law the Health Maintenance Organization Act of 1973, in which medical insurance agencies, hospitals, clinics, and even doctors could begin functioning as for-profit businesses instead of the service organizations that they were intended to be. And which insurance company got the first taste of federal subsidies to implement HMOA 73? Why, it was Kaiser. Kaiser Permanente. What are the odds of that? And that is how we came to have for-profit healthcare here in America. Decade by decade and year by year, the American people watched the middle class, working class base of our country come under attack as the trickle-down voodoo economic myth has been further and further ingrained into American law and psyche. Union membership has dwindled, and overtime pay has virtually disappeared as union-busting laws and overtime laws were changed in favor of the donor class, crushing the working class. Yes, the service bar to the American public by their government has dropped progressively lower and lower until now it seems like there is no bar height left to measure. Look around America and you will see homelessness like never before, and more people living in poverty in greater numbers. Who could have imagined in the wealthiest country the world has ever known? How can this be, and why has this come to pass? I say it because the evil of political bribery through the lobbying and political corporate sponsorship has poisoned the hallowed American ground of government of, by, and for the people. I also say this must end now, or the government of, by, and for the people will perish from this earth. The government must serve, protect, and honor the people, not condemn them into grinding poverty, enslave them into private profit prisons, and trap them in an unending debt for profit schools at every level of education, as we now see becoming a reality. As an American whose family who served this country generation after generation since the Revolutionary War, I, David Strider, cannot stand by and let the bar of service by our government to the people fall forever to the ground. The time is now for federal government to step up and to serve the people and not the special corporate interest as the case is today. Healthcare must be returned to the people in a single payer system. Economic policy and programs must be crafted to directly benefit and serve the working class. Middle class Americans, not the corporate donors class as it is now. The top progressive taxation levels, such as I saw under Nixon, were 70%. And corporate America paid 30% of the tax burden, not the 7 or 8, 9% that is so prevalent today. One side note here, your taxes do not fund federal spending. I repeat, your taxes do not fund federal spending. And the crime of many Americans' most successful corporations is not only do they pay nothing at all, some actually receive millions, yes, in fact, even billions, upfront in incentives to grace a city, a county, or a state with their presence. While the federal government has paid many of the world's largest once American corporations billions for sending their jobs and facilities offshore to other countries. I ask you all, isn't it time for the government to work for us and not against us? Isn't it time for the government to step up and serve all of us instead of the corporation criminals who have rewritten our laws to subvert our government from the ones of, by, and for the people to being the slave to a corporate or special interest donor class? I say no to that. I am Dave Strider, and I say the time for this to change is now. I'm Dave Strider, your candidate for U.S. Senate here in the state of Washington. And quite frankly, I'm mad as hell. Aren't you? I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore. I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore. Come on, get up right now. Get up out of your seat. Get up and stand up. Go to the window. Look out the window. Yell, I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore. You understand? I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore. Everywhere you go, let them know that you're mad as hell and that you're not going to take it anymore.